Hello everyone and welcome to your weekly dose of Game of Thrones with Marius. Today we'll talk about the just released teaser trailer since there is a bunch of stuff going on in it and you don't want to miss it. So everyone to the kitchen, grab some tinfoil, get plenty by the way because we are about to leave Kansas, or enter the rabbit hole or whatever metaphor you want to use. Before we begin, be aware that the video will contain spoilers, so if you are not caught up with the show, or if you don't want to know anything about future events, even if it's only in theory, then go away. The main reason of the video is that Martin and also Dan and Dave like to play with symbols. There will always be some hidden meaning in what they put out, and that means we can make a quasi-semiotic analysis of what we just saw. The first thing to notice is the timeline of the teaser, because it is actually composed out of two separate ones. There is a recap of the past and there is a teaser of the future. The two are very clearly divided by the presence of the same narrator and by the changing composition. But we will get to it once we hit each segment. So, without wasting any more time, let's begin. The first part of the trailer is actually a recent history recount presented in a sculptured form. It depicts the main events that lead to the current situation of the Seven Kingdoms. Teaser features the houses that are still relevant to the conflict, and it does so with the help of their respective sigils. We have a combination of images and words supporting each other. In the first segment, the words are completely related with the images, while in the second act, there is far more than meets the eye, and the ear. In this case, teaser starts with a clear depiction of House Targaryen rising. It is towering above anything else with its three dragon heads. Alone, unreachable, unbeatable, the king at the top. The grand prize, if you want. The images receive support from Dany's speech. She is the first speaker, and her line reaffirms her belonging to House Targaryen, with everything that entails, Mad King included.
I know what my father was, what he did. I know the Mad King earned.
She's not proud of her father, but she's proud of her family. Dany's followed by the famous quote from Aerys Targaryen. Burn them all! Burn them all. The scene changes as it introduces Robert's Rebellion, the initial event that sparked the entire plot of the show. We have two heads of the dragon and the stag. In fact, what we see is Aerys, Rhaegar, and Robert. And the stag has its antlers within one of the dragon's neck, representing Robert's victory over Rhaegar and over the dragon. We then get a statement from Robert, declaring his intention of killing off any Targaryen.
Kill every Targaryen I get my hands on.
It is this defining desire by Robert that actually builds the second most important plot driver in the series. This desire to kill Targaryens is the main reason why Jon had to be hidden from the world. The next scene indicates the attack of the lion on the stag, as in the death of Robert by the hands of the Lannisters, with Cersei's speech confirming her ultimate loyalty to her family, a true lioness. We follow with Joffrey's command on Sir Ilyn Payne to kill Ned.
Sir Ilyn, bring me his head.
And if you look in the background of the scene, you can see that the lion killing the stag still lingers. The scene suggests that the two events are closely related both in action and in time. The next voiceover belongs to Balon Greyjoy.
We are iron for. We take.
And it ushers in the tentacles of the Kraken, that is now choking a wolf, symbolizing the implication of the Greyjoys in bringing down House Stark with the taking of Winterfell. We then get to the Red Wedding with Roose Bolton,
The Lannisters send their regards.
while the images introduce the lion head followed by the screams of Catelyn Stark. Some people told me that this is a bear head. There would be no point in having a bear head. It is a lion. The next voiceover is Olenna Tyrell,
I don't think I'd let you marry that beast.
referencing the purple wedding. The supporting images show how the rose thorns are now hindering the lion's paw, suggesting how House Tyrell has interfered and stopped House Lannister. It is important to note that it is a paw and not a head. The next speaker is Qyburn at the coronation of Cersei,
Cersei of the House Lannister.
and the images show the Tyrell rose being engulfed in wildfire, suggesting the scene at Balon's Sept where the rose lost most of its representatives. That brings us to the end of Act 1. The past has been retold, and now it is time to move to the actual teaser for Season 7. We see it as a fresh start because the speaker is once again Dany.
Lannister, Targaryen, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell.
She is the one that starts both acts, past and future. Notice that the scene also changes. We are getting a completely new sculpture. Dany's speech is her famous wheel allegory, and in fact the sculpture is actually on a wheel. In the dialogue, Dany is referencing the houses, and at the start of the shot, we can even see the referenced houses. This is when we notice that it's a completely new sculpture, further suggesting that what we see is new. It has yet to happen. We see the new season, in fact. The lion is entangled in rose thorns, but it is not its paw anymore. It is its head. suggesting that the conflict between the Tyrells and the Lannister will escalate and that the head of the lion will feel the pressure. We also see the stag in the background with the antlers very much around the dragon's neck, not stabbing it. Also, the dragon heads are in a completely different position now. So why the stag? It can't be Robert or Stannis, so the only possible explanation is Gendry, the last surviving member of House Baratheon, the only stag. And since it's not stabbing the dragon, it probably is protecting it with the antlers. The stag is followed by a dragon's head, which curiously enough is alone and much lower than the other two. It is found between the lion and the wolf. Thing is, the only two people that are involved in both families are Sansa and Tyrion. Considering that, and the fact that its lower position, heavy tinfoil alert now, might be an indication of Tyrion Targaryen. And although I'm not a believer in the theory, this might be an indication. Don't quote me on it though. The next frame brings us a wolf head strangled by the Kraken's tentacles, which is also strangling a dragon's head. This probably suggests the ultimate baddie position of Euron Greyjoy, who will be antagonizing and fighting probably both the Starks and the Targaryens, that including our favorite double member, Jon Stargaryen. The next scene supports Dany's speech end, but it also suggests one more thing. We only get 2 dragon heads, not 3. It could mean a number of things. Either for one, a Targaryen dies, or one of Dany's dragon dies, but instead what I actually think it says is that the dragon has 3 heads, and we won't be able to see the 3rd head of the dragon in the next season. He will still be concealed. We are now at the point where the wheel gets broken. The houses fall, and the new voiceover is Davos, the show's new moral compass. He's bringing the bad news. The image and structure suggest that the Targaryen dragon wins the battles with the houses, emerges victorious at the top, only to realize how fragile it actually is in the face of the real enemy. An enemy that breaks all houses and makes them crumble, including the Targaryen. We now get to the one new line.
There is only one war that matters. The Great War. And it is here.
It is Jon Snow. Well, Jon Targaryen, since we can't call him Snow anymore. It is very important to listen to what Jon says. The wording and the tense are important. It seems to be the finishing line of a longer speech. It is one of those things that a character says one time only, a punchline. It suggests a moment of finality, an ending, a moment of intense pressure, an important event. All that makes me believe that these words might be the phrase we get just before or just after the wall comes down. Listen to the phrase.
There is only one war that matters. The Great War. And it is here.
He says it is here. It's present. He does not say it's coming. It's not they will come. He says it is here. It happened. The armies of the White Walkers are capable of doing battle right now. The wall must be down. Once Jon delivers the line, we see the final sigil appear, the White Walker sigil, and the way the footage is cut seems to suggest an interesting thing. Out of the war of the houses, everybody will crumble. Only one emerges victorious, and it's not one of the houses. And this is probably the point that Jon will make, to convince everybody. So what does the trailer predict? It seems to say that the Tyrells and the Lannisters will be at war, that Euron will fight both Dany and Jon, or even an alliance of the two, that House Baratheon will show up as an ally of the Targaryens, that the houses will fight each other, and the dragon will emerge victorious with its 2 heads. That is the point where the White Walkers will probably deliver a crushing blow to humanity. And that, quite probably, means the wall will fall. That is about it. I hope you enjoyed this. The trailer also confirmed the theory I've been working on for a long time, an original one that I can now actually make a clip for, but about which I won't say anything just yet. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, if you did like it, so you don't miss future videos. Until the next clip, I can only wish you happy throning.